Hello, friends. I hope you're doing well, and I hope that you are in a season of receiving rich love from God and moving into all that you're called to. But if you're not, I want to let you know that it's okay. And if you're experiencing feeling distant from Him, it's okay. He is so in love with you that He is with you in every part of your season. And today I want to do a part 2 of what we talked about in the last episode. In the last episode, we talked about how connecting with the Father can help our nervous system come into a place of healing and wholeness. And today I want to talk about what to do when you feel spiritually numb and how to step into a place of coming alive again. We're just bridging that gap with our nervous system, connecting with God through your body and your heart, and understanding that numbness or even feeling distant is often brought on by difficult things happening. Trauma, stress, freeze response can impact our ability to connect with God. And we're going to just talk about how to gently come into that space of feeling alive again, not through striving, but even through body-based, spirit-based, heart-centered practices that allow us to lean in to the safety of God's presence. So, there was a time for me how this kind of journey began where when I got saved, was a young teenager and was passionate about God, I would fast and pray, and I read my Bible as though I was a starving child, just eating it up every day and for many years, and led several groups and ministries and different things. And I just was passionate about God. And over time, there were different things that happened in life that would kind of take the rug out from underneath me or knock the wind out of me, and had to kind of re-envision that love again with God, or reconnect with Him in different places. And maybe you've gone through that as well. But, I will never forget that beginning time where the love was so sweet. My heart was awakened. Colors outside seemed brighter. And then kind of coming to the end of that space and feeling dry and weary and going, what do I do to rekindle that space of connection? And it kind of stepped into, doing the spiritual disciplines that we do, fasting and praying and, looking for inner healing and counseling and deliverance and what have you, all the different things that we might do to try to rekindle that space. And, it was re-envisioned again, reconnected again. And it wasn't until there was a time where just everything was knocked out from me that I felt so disconnected from God. I felt disconnected in my body. I felt dry, and I couldn't feel or sense Him near me. And even the word just felt dry, and it was hard to connect. And I really, at the end of the day, I felt like something was wrong with me. And maybe you can relate. I know that I've heard that from many, many people. Just that place is such a hard place to be. And if you're in that space, I just want to encourage you that God is with you, and He is the river that wants to fill you back up again. There was something really beautiful that I learned in probably the longest dry season that I had, if you will, about the nature of God always being there. He wasn't mad, and there wasn't something wrong with me. He was actually in it to meet me in it, to not just pull me out of it, but to meet me in the middle, to meet me where I was. And it was a safe, healing place of this connection of learning to heal my nervous system response, learning to heal those spaces of trauma, come out of the freeze response and emotional shutdown, and recognizing the components inside of me, inside of us as created beings, that there's a neurobiological component, and neuro is the brain, and biology are our whole biology, and the brain body connection of feeling safe and grounded. just talked about that in the last episode, but I want to bring that to this other space of when we feel shut down. And that's that kind of deep, low nervous system, dorsal vagal state where we're no longer kind of feeling connected even within ourselves. And this can be brought on by traumas, by too much stress, by burnout, by grief, by betrayal, a chronic running of systems just happening. And at a certain point, our biology shuts down. Our brain shuts down, our heart shuts down, our nervous system shuts down to say, I can't do it anymore. I need to pause. I need to rest. And numbness is actually often a way of the body beginning to say, this is too much. I need to rest. If you won't rest and you won't come into a cycle of healing those things, I need to do that first. And I want to propose that when you can't feel God, there might be a place in your nervous system that's in a state of disconnection. Remember, if you remember the last episode, if you haven't seen that, we talk a little bit about how polyvagal theory redefines the state of healing in our nervous system, that the primary way our nervous system needs to heal is through connection with people, connection with God. And when we have a broken sense of connection, our nervous system shifts into disconnection. But I want to say also that just because you're feeling disconnected doesn't mean that God is disconnected from you. It doesn't mean that you're far from him or that he's far from you. It means that that place of safety and reconnection and restoration needs to be restored. And there needs to be a place of letting him come into that place where you are. Can you allow Jesus to step in? He stepped into our world, out of heaven, into humanity, to step into our world and say, I'm in it with you. He became a man forever and is still a man wanting to connect with you, saying to you, I'm going to step into your world. Would you let me? Here is the other thing, is that he does not force himself to come into your world. He knocks, he releases different signs, or he breathes upon you, but he is not going to force himself. And there's a place where our heart protects us. Our mind, our limbic system is designed to protect us. Our nervous system is designed to protect us. And sometimes we're in ultra shutdown and numbness because we've shut down so much, unintentionally most of the time, in order to protect ourselves. And if all those walls are up, trying to protect us, how do we let him in? I love the beginning of Song of Songs 1, where it just says, let him. Some translations, it just says, let him. I believe it's verse 2, actually, but it's just this simple phrase of let him. And I remember in that journey that I was in, where I just felt so connected. One of the things that I did was I decided to rest, to heal, to accept that process and that part of the journey, and not get wrapped up in the angst of, God, where are you? I decided to start believing, God, you are with me. I choose to believe that you're with me, whether I can feel you or not, because it's part of your promises. And I want to just call this out, and we're calling it the Christian hustle. As many times we as Christians have a great perspective that can lead us into greater levels of burnout. We say, oh, just, if you're not feeling it, just start praying harder. Start praying harder, declaring, just read more scripture, just get into the word even more. Fast until the breakthrough comes. But I want to put a perspective out there that these things can often run an already weary and tired nervous system into the ground even more. And what happens when you begin doing that, and I want to speak this very clearly, if you begin partnering practices that are good practices, it's good to pray, it's good to read the word, it's good to fast when you're in the right state of mind. But when you have an already weary nervous system that is already wrestling with disconnection and shutdown, and you put these practices of striving into it, it begins to associate in your brain and your body these practices with that shutdown space, and they begin to become no longer safe. Now, of course, prayer, the word, fasting, all of those things are always safe in one sense. But if your brain begins to associate more reading of the word, more declarations, praying through strife, it is not associating it with something that's healing, that's restful, that's going to draw you in closer to God. Maybe you've experienced this. But for me, what it looked like was I no longer wanted to pray at all. The word that used to bring me great life, I could read the word for hours and days, and I knew every address of every verse, not out of pride, but because I loved it. I truly loved it. But there was a time where to even open it and look at it, I couldn't get life from it. I saw things in it, and I saw condemnation when I read it. I was weary when I looked at it. I had a poor taste in my mouth when I would read it. There were times where I felt like spending time in prayer just felt icky to me. And that's not the heart of God. He doesn't want that association with those things to put a bad taste in your mouth. They're designed to give you life. But if you're already in a state of weariness, tiredness, and you begin to integrate strife into it, it puts a religious structure of strife around the practices that are meant to bring you life. These things are beautiful, but we're meant to enter into them from rest and safety, from connection, love, and hope. And if we don't have that when doing those practices, we can lose touch with what we really need. Sometimes we just need to lie down and let God in. God, I just let you in right now. Let him come in and just let him wash over you. John 15, you have been washed clean by the water of my word. Maybe you need to lie down and let some soaking music just wash over you and begin to picture yourself like a sponge, letting your cells of your body and your nervous system just begin to soak in his love, in his hope, in his life, and rest. Enter into his promises through rest and watch how your body begins to respond and open up. You know, they say that trust takes time. If you've experienced bridges that have been broken because of trust with humanity, and again, we talked about that a little bit in the last episode about father figures, but people in general can also break our trust and reflect poorly on our dynamic and relationship with God. And remember, your nervous system needs safety in order to respond to healing, but to also feel spiritual connection. And if your brain is unintentionally protecting you from God because these disciplines have led to burnout, maybe what you need is just to connect with your breath and your heart, to downshift, and gently to begin to build that trust again through rest. Jesus came in the flesh, remember, became a man, and he wants to meet you in yours and to restore your bodily sense of safety, to restore your brain and your heart and your nervous system connection to him. And one very simple practice, like I said, you can lay down and just soak, but placing your hand on your heart and place the other hand on your diaphragm connects you with your heart brain and your gut brain. And tuning your brain into these areas connects all three brains in your body. But placing your hand on those areas also helps to just downshift and create a core felt sense of safety. Downshift your breathing, slow it down, just to begin to connect with Jesus. Not to look for him to heal, not to look for him to do something, but just to be with you in this moment. Remember, we first need connection. We first need that felt sense of safety to rebuild the trust internally. And just close your eyes for a moment with your hand on your heart and your diaphragm, just breathing. Even just being truthful with what you're experiencing. God, I feel shut down right now. I can't feel even myself or your presence. But Jesus, I'm here. And Jesus, I choose to believe that you're here with me too. And just rest in that. Don't strive. Don't try to make anything happen. Just notice any shift in your felt sense. Just breathe. And just gently whisper, I'm connecting my breath with yours. Jesus, would you breathe your life in me? Remember that the Father breathed life into you in Genesis, and Jesus breathed life as Spirit in John. He breathed in, and he's breathing into you right now. Just feel his gentle breath, allowing you to rest, allowing you to be restored and healed. So, my friends, this process of restoring connection, restoring that awakening, so to speak, is a gentle process. If you remember in Song of Songs, if you've read that journey of the bride, really, in her journey with Jesus, multiple times, it says, do not awaken love until she's ready. And I know there's many different reasons for that, but I want to also speak into this. We don't need to awaken too quickly. We want to restore connection and restore your breath of life and restore rest. And as rest is restored and connection is restored and trust is rebuilt, your nervous system, your brain, and your body will naturally begin to heal, supernaturally breathing with him. And allow yourself to create these rhythms of rest, safety, and stillness in your life. It's available for you, my friends. I mean, nothing is wrong with you. It means all that you need is gentleness, stillness, and restoration and connection. God is right here with you. He never leaves you or forsakes you. Whether you feel him or not, he is with you in this moment. So if you would like to restore your nervous system and your connection with God, you know some of the resources that we have available. You can jump in on the self-practice of the wholeness meditation experience and dive into some of those practices and connection. You can check those out using the links below. And my friends, I just bless you in this journey. May you feel that deep sense and awareness of connection and love with God. And may you begin to experience the restoration in your nervous system.